Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Seltzertronics. Today I am here to review this very tiny, can you see it? There you go. Can you see it? This is an iFi DC iPurifier 2. Now, what is a DC iPurifier 2? It is, in a sense, a poor man's linear power supply. A linear power supply is, at least in audio, typically considered to be an upgrade to a switching mode power supply. At some point, engineers decided that they could make a switching mode power supply a lot cheaper and easier than a linear power supply, which requires usually a big, heavy transformer and all that. And they cost a lot more money. They're bulky. They get hot. They use more power. And in virtually any case you can think of, a switching mode power supply is plenty good enough. Like, think about all the little electronic doohickeys you have here and there. Everything from your electronic toothbrush to your Roku. It's probably got a little thing you plug into the wall with a little box in it. Sometimes that's called a wall wart. And it has a little plug that goes to your device. That's a switching mode power supply. Now, in audio, many audiophiles say that there's a problem because switching mode power supplies generate noise. Just as part of the way they work, they generate some electrical noise that gets into electronics. Now, with most devices, this doesn't matter, but with audio, it might. So audiophiles advocate using a linear power supply, which I guess does not have that problem. Also, there is something called DC ripple. DC ripple is essentially AC power, or alternating current power, that still doesn't get smoothed out when it goes to the DC current. And that little bit of AC power gets into your device that works with DC power, and it can cause it to run at higher temperatures. It can cause electrical noise and distortion and so forth. So again, a linear power supply is supposed to do better in this regard. Well, the problem with linear power supplies is that they're pretty much, you need one for every device you have, and they're very picky. Right, so let's say you have a 5 volt. If you have a 5 volt device, it's pretty easy to find a linear power supply. But if you have another device which is 18 volts, or another which is 24 volts, or another which is 12 volts, you need yet another linear power supply. Plus, they have fairly low, current limits. So it might only do, 3 amps or something like that. Right, so basically, you need a new linear power supply for every little device you have, and that can add up pretty quickly. Even a basic one on Amazon or eBay, you can get one from China for maybe like $100, $150, and sometimes they're selectable, but they generally have current limitations that might be inadequate for your device. Well, so that's where this thing comes in. This is, well, what you do is you have your device, right, and you plug it in, and then you have your device's little switching mode power supply that you plug into this. You put this between your device and your switching mode power supply, the cheap one that came with it in the box. Also, it works with pretty much any device between 5 volts and 24 volts. So it's extremely versatile. You can put it on your router. You can put it on your Roku. I don't know what kind of performance. I suppose I should have tried that, shouldn't I? Maybe I should try that. I don't really expect much of a difference with the Roku, but I wanted to try this with my phono stage, my Sim Audio Moon 110 LP phono stage, which is connected to my Technics SL1210 MK2. Could I possibly increase the performance of my phono stage and increase the overall sound quality of my analog chain with this little Lego block. I want to say yes, but you're not going to be very satisfied with this answer. You see, I tried really, really hard to definitively demonstrate that this thing worked, that this improved sound quality. Now, what I did was I used my digital recorder and I connected my digital recorder directly to the outputs of my phono stage. And I recorded several different tracks, which I will include at the end of this video, 3 different tracks. I recorded them with the iFi and without the iFi. I then had the digital versions of those tracks, which I recorded in 24-bit, 96 kilohertz, as best as I could, as highest as quality as my recorder supported. And oh my God, I spent so much time running these through ABX comparator and foobar. I did it over and over and over and over again. I tried it with headphones. I tried it with closed headphones. I tried it with open headphones. I tried it on my speakers. I tried running it off my main system. I tried running it off my secondary system. I tried running from my PC directly to my audio GD. No matter what I did, I really could not get a consistent result. Sometimes I thought I did, and I would get a few correct straight in a row. And then I would miss some. And in the end, no matter how confident I was after a set of 10 blind ABX trials, I'd be like, oh, I think I did pretty good. I think I did good. Maybe I'm going to get 8 out of 10. I'd look 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, basically no better than guessing. So I was very disappointed. But here's the thing, and this is why I want to talk about this. And really, I should make a video dedicated to this entirely. See, ABX testing is fantastic as an ideal, right? The mind is very powerful. The mind heavily influences what we perceive, right? Including, how we interpret and understand the things we hear. It is heavily influenced by expectation, right? Or expectation bias. The placebo effect and expectation bias are constant dangers in audiophilia. So what we try to do is we try to remove expectation from the equation, remove the mind from the equation by blinding yourself so you don't know what it is that you're listening to. The problem, though, I mean, it sounds great as a concept. The problem is that it can be very, very difficult to implement. Right now, to really do a direct A/B comparison with this device, I have to physically disconnect it from my phono stage, reconnect it with the straight SMPS, and obviously I know what I did because I did it. So you cannot perform most of these tests by yourselves. It's easy to compare digital files because you can use tools like ABX comparator, but when you're comparing hardware, it can be very difficult. A technique I frequently use is to make digital copies of something. I've used it to compare DACs. I can compare my Jotunheim to my Gungnir multibit all day long. It's fairly easy to hear comparing the AB tracks. But it doesn't always work, especially with some of the finer intricacies of digital audio. And in this case, this one, which is not really digital, but I could not hear anything until I had my wife switch, my lovely wife, who is very patient, switch this out for me while I buried my head underneath a pillow and chanted Om to make sure that I could not hear what she was doing. Now, we actually did this on a couple occasions just today. She was very patient. She did it with me a couple times, and she did a couple trials with me before. And here's the thing. When she does it, and I listen directly with no analog to digital and digital back to analog cycle, I hear a difference, and it's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's very noticeable. it's hard to really describe, but just like an all-around increase in quality, there is, I think, definitely less distortion, especially in the highs. But overall, it's just more dynamic. It's richer. The more vivid, the colors are deeper, the bass is cleaner, the highs are a little bit more airy and coherent and shiny. It's just, I think it's better, but the problem is I can't prove it to you. Now, the best I can do is I'm going to put these tracks here for you to listen to with and without the iFi, and I don't know, I mean, you can give it your best. I could not consistently identify the iFi with the digital files, but with the direct comparison, and granted, I could only really do 4 trials total over 2 different sessions because it's incredibly time consuming. It's very difficult to do. I don't want to keep like plugging and replugging my phono stage, right? And not, letting the caps discharge and going through all those charge cycles. I don't want to do it, right? But again, like ABX comparison is the gold standard. But what do you do when it's impractical to do? Well, I did the best I could. So the unsatisfying answer is that yes, it does matter. It did help improve the quality of my phono stage. I'm going to keep it. Because I am confident that this is improving the quality of my analog chain. I can't prove it, but for $100, I think this is a little upgrade that you should consider for your phono stage, or I mean, gosh, you could probably put it on a lot of things. I wish I could test it on more things. I'm not going to test it on my Roku because I don't know, what are we really expecting to see there? I would like to test it on my digital streamer, but unfortunately I don't have the stock switching mode power supply to test it against. I already have a linear power supply for that it came with. So I don't have anything else to test it with, but I would like to hear your experiences. Now, note that this is not the USB iPurifier. This is the DC iPurifier. It's a totally different device. It looks the same, but it works very differently. All right, let me know what you think of those files in the comments. I would be very interested if you folks are able to more consistently hear what's what in those files. I'll also put the answer key in down below. Just try not to look at it until you complete the test. All right, thanks a lot. Take it easy. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. This is Seltzertronics. Peace out. Okay, I couldn't resist. I connected it to my Roku. It was a crude test. I had to disconnect it, power down the Roku, power it back up, wait for it to boot up, go into Netflix, listen to Hans Zimmer live in Prague, which is awesome, by the way. With and without the iFi, well, in that crude test, I could not tell the difference. If there is one, I couldn't tell with that much time in between. In fact, the first time I did it, I connected it, and I didn't connect it. I put the adapters, and then I connected the adapters to the adapters into the Roku, and I didn't even connect it at all. And then I was like, oh my God, this looks so much better. It's amazing. Oh, so that's great. I think it's working. And then I saw this on the floor because I actually hadn't had it inserted. So I listened to it a couple more times and I went through and I don't think so. Anyways, please stay tuned. The tracks that I used to test the iFi with my turntable are coming right up.
Shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime, sound of the river, you stop and you hold everything. A band is blowing Dixie, double fall time. You feel alright when you hear the music ring. Well, now you step inside, but you don't see too many faces. Coming in out of the rain, they hear the jazz go down. Competition in other places, but the horns, they blowing that sound. Way on down south, way on down south, London town. We check out Guitar George, he knows all the chords. But it's strictly rhythm, he doesn't want to make it cry or sing. If then an old guitar is all he can afford, when he gets up under the lights to play his